guys, I want to do a video about the best masters for Nina. I already did a video for Ryu, want to kind of do all the characters, but finally just getting to Nina now. But yeah, so Nina is kind of special in that she does not get any particularly great weapons. So when you're looking at masters for her, you don't really need to worry about like making her a fighter or anything, because she doesn't really have a way to take advantage of like really powering up her strength or anything, because all of her weapons are single hit. A lot of characters you can get like 2-hit weapons. For Nina, that is not in consideration, so it makes her, I feel like, a bit more straightforward. So with Nina, like, obviously, like, you're gonna, when you're looking at your masters, obviously, you're gonna put her under Rolf when Rolf becomes available. Like, Rolf, he raises AP and Wisdom, that's good, he lowers attack. It's not, you don't care too much about on Nina, and for a lot of players, this is going to be a good master for probably half the game. Like, you can just keep her under him. Like, if you want Nina to be a bit faster, which you don't really need to because she's already the fastest, but if you were really, for whatever reason, you want her to be even faster, you could put her in Stoll, but generally you just keep her under Rolf. When you get to Una, I usually like to put her in Una just because the extra health and defense could help her. Yes, you do lose a point of wisdom and 2 AP per level, but it kind of balances out the AP and wisdom regain in the earlier levels. And Nina has AP to spare, but what Nina does not have is like survivability. She has the worst HP and defense growth in the entire game, so just giving her a boost for a few levels until you can get like a better master is not too bad. Like I said, Momo, no real reason to put her under Momo. Neomo is a consideration, but generally for a lot of players, it's going to be Abyss is the best magic one, so you'd pretty much, like I said, be Rolf to, like Una, or maybe just Rolf to Abyss. Abyss does lower defense and attack, like, so they don't care too much about attack on Nina, but defense can be an issue. One thing you could do, like some people, like, rather than, I mean, I know I've heard people who like to just keep her under Rolf for the whole game because he doesn't lower defense, but I feel like that is just not a good strategy. I mean, you could do Abyss, and if you're worried about defense, you could literally do half your levels under Abyss and half your levels under Kryric, and you would still be netting the same wisdom as you would just by being under Rolf, but instead of just being, like said, but you'd also be gaining some HP, and like it would balance out the defense loss. You'd even be gaining a little bit of attack. Yeah, you would lose a bit of speed, but again, Nina's a fast character. She has speed to spare, so like that's an alternative option if you do want, like said, better than just, I'd say, just under Rolf. I think under Rolf, their whole game is a mistake. I think you're better off doing Rolf Tal Abyss, or maybe doing a bit of Una in the middle to give her some extra HP and defense. Like, that's only, well, you only lose 1 wisdom per level, so it's not a big deal, because you'll gain 4 wisdom per level under Abyss. So, and again, you're only usually under Una for a few levels, maybe like, 6 or 7 levels, depending on when you meet her, what level and when you meet Abyss. But even if it's like 10 levels, it's still usually worth it just because Nina could use that extra HP. So that's kind of generally the main path you do with Nina, because again, Nina, being a major spellcaster, she doesn't really have any like attack to go with. She doesn't have any like good weapons, so you're just pretty much trying to take advantage. She's like usually your main healer, so having wisdom helps her healing spells, but also she has good wind magic. And you might want to teach her some of these other spells, like Flame Pillar could be good if you're not use on somebody else. Is your good strong single target magic damage ability, and then you have some other things, magic balls and meat as a physical attack that scales off of magic, like it's a magic attack that's like versus, but it's like non-elemental. Oh yeah, and then Oracle, which is an attack using Wisdom's power, so that's the one. Yeah, so Triple Blow, I think I learned like in the very final dungeon, so I never got moving it. And she's also the fastest, so you might want to put her on a thieving ability. So thieving abilities in Breath of Fire games, this also applies in Breath of Fire 3 and 5, is based on your character speed versus the enemy speed. So the faster your character is, the better your chance of stealing. Nina, being the naturally fast character, is obviously a great choice to kind of develop as a thief. So when you're like, if you really just want to go super into the thieving game, like it's super hard to steal items in this game, but some people, they really like to just focus Nina all in on speed, so their path then that way would just be Rolf Tel Stoll, and then you'd be Stoll Tel Neomo. Neomo gets 2 agility per level. She also gets 1 AP, which is not necessarily bad for Nina. She does lose a bit of HP per level, but it's 8 per level. which, that can hurt for Nina. But if you just want Nina to steal stuff, you don't use her that much in combat, this could definitely be just fine for that path. And then, of course, you also have stat maxing, which is usually Kryrik has the best like overall stats for that. Like in which case, if you're just going for like trying to get a perfect save, you want to take it around 11.99, get the best stats possible. In which case, you'd pretty much just be Rolf tell Una, and then Una tell Kryrik. The reason you do Kryrik is one, like he has massive gains, 25 HP, 2 defense. Those are hard to make up, and like as I've discussed in my Ryu video, like you can buy stat up items from like the Manila merchants. There's ways to farm those pretty easily from like a river spot, but if you go to like a town, you go talk to the Manila merchants, like you can trade fish for stamp cards. Like if you trade, as you trade items, you'll get like stamps, and and then if you look at the items, there's magic shard, power of food, swallow eye, and fish head. So you can get items that raise your AP, your attack, your agility, and your wisdom, but there are no items from Manila that raises HP or defense. There's other ways you can get it. There's certain monsters that can drop them, but it's a lot harder to farm. Takes a lot longer. So like if you're trying for stat maxing, it's better to try to max out your defense and HP gains from masters. So that's kind of why Kryrik is kind of like the best one for stat maxing. But as I discussed, if you just want Nina to get a bit of extra survivability, putting a few extra levels under Kryrik is not necessarily a bad thing. It should also be noted that stat gains in Breath of Fire 4 are like set per level. Like on every level you get specific stats for that level for that character. So one thing to note is that on Nina, on level 42, when she gains level 42, so she's level 41 and she goes to 42, her stats on that level is she only gains 1 wisdom and 1 agility on that level normally. So if you have her on Kryrik, you only have half the penalty you normally would, so she'd only lose 1 agility, 1 wisdom, and while gaining all those extra stats. So that for level 42, you probably do want her under Kryrik just to maximize that, because you never lose stats from level ups. Like, so you can always kind of minimize the losses, kind of use the like those kind of levels. Like Nina doesn't really have a lot because she gets stats on pretty much all levels, but certain characters, there are ways to be more optimal. Like Cray, for example, has a lot of levels like that, which I'll talk about if I ever get to a Cray video. Yeah, like I said, Kryrik pretty good for stat maxing. I think for Nina's level 42, you want Kryrik, but otherwise, like I said, if you're doing a mage, just do like Rolf tell Abyss, maybe some Una in the middle, just to give her some extra HP. And yeah, and if you're really worried, like I said, about like survival, you could always throw in a few levels of Kryrik as needed and tell you like, okay, literally just 4 levels under Kryrik gets her an extra 100 HP. 100 HP for just 4 levels, so like you can literally just put her under Kryrik for a few levels and put her back under Abyss if you're finding her too squishy. So yeah, those are my recommendations for Nina. Not too much. Like I said, she has good AP. You don't need to worry too much more about AP, especially if you're doing Abyss or the Neomo path for stealing. Like, so both those will get her pretty good AP. So yeah, not too much more to say on this one. If you if you want to see my video for Ryu, I did a video for Ryu. You can find that one down below. As always, thank you for watching.